Hi, my name is Morgan Adamski, and I am a huge advocate for minimal waste. I am always looking for new ways to eliminate plastic from my life, and I make sure to include easy habits in my daily routine like reusable cups and bags to try and reduce waste that will end up in landfills or in our oceans. I would like to provide a little information about how important this kind of mentality is for our environment because plastic has become such an issue. And I would also like to tell you how simple it can be to just adjust a few things in your day-to-day life that will help. So to start, I'm going to give you a few facts about plastic waste. The use of plastic products over the last 70 years have been so prevalent that we have now reached a point where we cannot live without them in our day-to-day lives. We are producing 300 million tons of plastic every year. Half of that is for single use. And then after that, it is simply thrown into the garbage, and eventually 8 million tons end up in our oceans each year. Since plastic is cheap and very versatile, it is ideal for many different uses, although these qualities have resulted in it becoming a catastrophic environmental issue. We have created this disposable lifestyle, and it is becoming very hard to change that, but many are realizing that this is just not sustainable. Annually, around 500 billion plastic bags are used worldwide, more than 1 million every minute. On average, a plastic bag has a working life of 15 minutes, and over the last 10 years, we have produced more plastic than in the last century. As far as beverage containers go, according to the Container Recycling Institute, 100.7 billion plastic beverage bottles were sold in the US in 2014. That's 315 bottles per person. And 57% of those units were plastic water bottles. This is up from 3.8 billion plastic water bottles sold in 1996, which is the earliest year for available data. Also, the processing of making bottled water requires about 6 times as much water per bottle than there is in the actual container. That just seems completely ridiculous and wasteful. Lastly, 14% of all litter comes from beverage containers. And then when you consider caps and labels, that number is higher. Another thing to consider is plastic straws. These little waste makers have been getting a lot of flack from a recent video that went viral of a sea turtle getting a straw pulled out of its nose. I personally have not been able to watch this just because I feel like it's going to be very upsetting. But this video generated a lot of buzz, and as it should. Around 500 million straws are used a day in America. That could fill 127 school buses. So what are the effects of this use? From the Fauna and Flora International Institute, they have been addressing marine plastic pollution for several years. And in particular, it has been instrumental in raising awareness about the lesser-known microplastics. These tiny particles are what is left when larger plastic items break down over time and they enter the oceans directly. They're also considered microbeads. Those are also found in facial scrubs, or they're also come from raw pre-production plastic pellets, and they're also from fibers from synthetic clothing that enter the waterways from domestic washing machines. Seabirds, marine mammals, and sea turtles can accidentally eat or become entangled in plastic debris with devastating consequences. There is also growing evidence of microplastics being eaten by a range of important species at the bottom of the food chain, including seafood species such as mussels and langoustines. This is particularly worrying given that these particles are thought to attract and concentrate background pollutants such as DDT, and concerns are now being raised about their potential to provide a vehicle for these harmful chemicals to enter our food chain. And lastly, there is a huge issue with pollution. There have been discovered 2 different garbage islands, one in the Pacific Ocean considered the Great Garbage Island, and now there's recently been one found in the Caribbean Ocean. So what are some of the solutions that we can work towards to try to eliminate this issue? I am that annoying friend that is always shames my friends when they use plastic bags when it's not necessary, or forget their reusable cup when we go to a coffee shop, or when they purchase a case of single-use plastic water bottles. All these things are avoidable circumstances if everyone just took the time to slightly change their mentality and do a couple things differently. Businesses and state officials are taking notice. Living in Reno and working in the bar and restaurant industry, I have noticed many businesses switch to compostable cardboard straws in place of plastic ones. And in California, Assemblyman Ian Calderon proposed a bill, straws upon request, and that would make it illegal for servers to give guests plastic straws unless asked for. This could be going a little far, but the Assemblyman stresses in a tweet that this bill is simply to raise awareness about the detrimental effects of plastic straws on our environment. Also, just when you leave for the grocery store, just try to keep in mind to bring a reusable bag. You can also try to grab any previous bags you have used for vegetables that you had washed and possibly saved, and take those along as well. I like to carry a reusable bag in my purse that folds into itself and in case I unexpectedly need it. It is small and easy to carry around because it doesn't take up very much room in my purse. I also try to have my insulated water bottle on hand so that whenever I am out and about, I can just refill it. Or if I happen to go to a coffee shop and don't have my reusable cup, I can double that as my coffee cup and, put a tasty latte in that. I just make sure to bring it in at night when I get home and make sure to give it a good clean. There are also other options to reduce your waste of straws. You can try to actively let your server or bartender know when you go out that you don't need a straw. They probably enjoy that. It creates less garbage for them to clean up and better for their bottom line because they're buying less straws. Some people have sensitive teeth, so I understand that they may need one, or they like to use it to mix their drink. In that case, you can purchase reusable metal straws, and you can carry those with you because they are compactable. If you don't feel like going that far, maybe just put pressure on some of your favorite bars and restaurants that you enjoy patroning to start using compostable cardboard straws. And so that is what I would consider some of the great options that you can, potentially use to try to reduce your waste. Since after learning some of these crazy statistics about our current plastic use and the harmful effects, everyone should collectively be taking steps to eliminate their personal plastic waste so that we can continue to have beautiful beaches such as this. Thank you.